Today, we are finally getting Rick, and alongside Rick, we got some new patch notes. I'm not going to waste any of your time, we're just going to dive into these and talk about what they mean for the future of the game. So like I said, Rick Sanchez is going to be joining MultiVersus today, and I am pretty excited. I think this is the character out of Season 1 that the most people are interested in. To be honest, other than Rick and Morty, I think Season 1's character picks are kind of hit or miss in terms of like popularity and getting a lot of people to care about the game. But tomorrow should be a pretty great day for the game if they can get some hype going around Rick finally coming out. There's a lot of really cool stuff for the general player base as well. If you played on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, you might have noticed that if you matched against someone on a next-gen console or on PC, you would load in later than them. And this is kind of a big deal because sometimes you're starting a match while being hit, and obviously that's a big disadvantage to be at, and they should hopefully be fixing that. They're improving the loading performance for those systems. The free character has changed from Wonder Woman to Shaggy, who's the actual character you play as in the tutorial. I think this is great for new players. As long as they remove the tank quests from the possible quests you can get from a battle pass, since you won't have access to Wonder Woman guaranteed anymore, and it could potentially just be a huge headache for new players. But one of these changes I actually think is really bad and kind of anti-consumer, and they are doubling the XP required to go from level 3 to 15 on the character mastery track. I'm gonna be honest, this is my least favorite change they've ever made. I didn't think it was a big deal that characters leveled up quickly, because then you can actually get to your very powerful perks, right? I think if they wanted to make it harder to get to level 15, they could have very easily just increased the amount of XP required after level 9, which is after you get your first big perk and after you get your ability to train whatever perk you want, because that's when you truly unlock the fun for a character, in my opinion. I don't think this is a good change. I think this is, again, the worst change they've made to the game since the game's come out. But thankfully, the rest of the patch is pretty good. I just hope they think about maybe changing this in the future because, you know, the players that have like 50 or more hours in the game already, they're not going to be affected by this. Their characters are already level 15. All you're going to do is double the amount of time it's going to take for people to catch up, and that's not a good thing. Imagine someone joins MultiVersus in a year and the roster is doubled, but it takes forever to level up characters. At that point, there might even be 6 to 7 characters you want to play, and the grind at that point will just be pretty obnoxious. So this change, I think, just straight up sucks. Getting into some good news though, they implemented an anti-infinite combo system. What this does is if you use the same move 4 times in the same combo, like let's say Shaggy uses grounded down attack in the same combo 4 times, then the combo is going to have scaling and it's going to drop. That's pretty great. A lot of fighting games have it to where you can't just keep repeating the same moves over and over again in the same combo. Skullgirls is a game like this that comes to mind, and I think this is a good change for the future of the game. They're even considering it making it 3 times in the same combo, which I think is fine. But yeah, I'm pretty pumped for this change. They introduced a light projectile, which is essentially like Fox's laser. It's a projectile where you take damage, but it doesn't apply knockback. The only character that has one of these as of right now is Rick Sanchez. Getting into actual character balance, Arya just got some bug fixes and a promise to fix her up special at a future date. Bugs Bunny's hitbox is slightly smaller on his down air to kind of better match what it looks like it would be. For Finn the human, they made his aerial down attack and grounded side attack more committal. And then for Garnet, oh boy, we got a lot of buffs. Essentially, what a lot of this is going to do is make her more consistently able to follow up off of combos. I like the fact that her grounded down attack is going to carry momentum so that you can kind of like start the move sooner and start the charge sooner and then get into range once it's closer to fully charged. I think that's going to be fun to play with. But basically, the rest of these changes are trying to make it so Garnet can actually follow up off of the attacks that she lands. Gizmo got kind of buffs across the board, which I'm a little confused by. I think Gizmo is actually really good, at least at a higher level, and maybe they saw the low win rate and decided they needed to buff him, but the character is a hard character. He's only been out for like 2 or 3 weeks, and the thing with this that I think is the most annoying is if you're going to make hard characters, they're going to have bad win rates. If your hard character has a high win rate, that just means the character is OP, right? As simple as that. But if you would like to know what the buffs were, Gizmo is going to have better jump speed. The music note lifetime has been extended by 1 second. Car is now a heavy projectile, meaning it'll go through other projectiles. I'm not sure if this counts when you're in the car. If it does, it just means you can drive through other projectiles, which I think actually sounds very fun. Side Special has 5 less recovery frames, which I think Side Special was already kind of cracked. You could chase kills off the side with it if you were pretty good, so I don't know. And then Down Special you can jump cancel out of. These are some good buffs, just straight up. I think the character is going to be better in this patch than in the last one. Jake can no longer bounce an enemy if they are grounded. Yeah, thank God for that. That move was pretty annoying. And then Grounded Down Attack has more recovery frames if you missed the move. LeBron got a lot of changes, and to be honest, I'm not familiar enough with how the character actually works mechanically to tell you if these are an overall buff or an overall nerf, so I'm just going to tell you what happened. When an ally receives a pass, there is a small explosion to knock away enemies, so you just get to hit an enemy if you pass a ball to a teammate. And the no-look pass basketball speed has been increased to 3200 instead of 3000, so if you throw a no-look basketball, it's just going to travel faster. However, his aerial and ground down special does not block heavy projectiles anymore, and basketball aerial neutral attack no longer breaks armor on the first hit. I want to say he's about the same after this patch as before the patch, but he's maybe just less frustrating for LeBron and his teammate and for the enemy team. We'll see though. Morty just got the experimental tag removed, and LeBron got that as well. I have seen some conversation about how we should wait for the experimental tag to be removed before characters are allowed in tournament, and I kind of disagree with that. Iron Giant has been out for months and still has an experimental tag. Some of these characters have experimental tags for a long time. I know LeBron did as well. And LeBron hasn't exactly been tearing up the tournament scene. He hasn't been breaking the game. I mean, the way I think it should work is there's like a 30-day grace period. Once the character is out for a month, then they are fair game in a major. But other fighting games don't have these restrictions at all. You can just play the character as soon as they're out. I don't play this game competitively, but that would be my 2 cents. Shaggy got a little slap on the wrist. I do think this is going to hurt him because they have been hitting Shaggy with nerfs pretty consistently through the patches. His aerial side special is going to be even more punishable on whiff now. They've already increased the recovery frames on this move. This is just going to make it easier to punish him than it already was. And then his aerial neutral attack no longer breaks armor on the first hit. Not sure how this is going to affect the character, but we'll see. Steven Universe got a lot of buffs across the board, and this is another case of Gizmo-itis, where I don't think this character needs to be buffed. He's hard to play. It's fine that his win rate isn't the highest. I feel like Steven's pretty solid, actually, and is one of the stronger supports right now, especially if the trajectory of nerfing Velma every patch continues. I think Steven's going to see a lot more play soon. The grounded side attack, I'm fine with. They're just making it so the attack won't hitch, and they're making it more consistent and more smooth. I think that's fine. But the increased knockback scaling on aerial side attack, the increased projectile speed on side special, and the earlier active frames on down attack, I do think are a little much. I think this character is fine. These aren't crazy buffs, so I'm not expecting the character to shoot up in viability. I do just kind of hope they stop doing this though. And finally, we have some changes that might actually affect Superman. I've been saying from minute 1 that what makes Superman good isn't the armor spam, it is the fact that he can grab your ass at 10% and kill you if you're near the blast zone. If Superman goes off stage and spikes you into the side of the stage and then follows up with up special, he can throw you down and get a guaranteed combo into killing you at around 10 to 20% on most characters. What was OP about this character was his up special, and they are actually nerfing aerial up special. It is getting 12 frames of recovery on whiff, so if you miss the move, you're gonna get punished and you can't just dash away and be good. It lowered the base knockback of his down throw, so what I just said about him hitting you into the stage into down throw, killing you at 10, and it's all true, might be gone now, which is pretty nice. And overall, the people who are just wall camping with Superman so they can up special and throw you down are gonna have a lot less success. So good, I think these are actually good Superman changes, and then Tom and Jerry are getting buffed, and this is kind of necessary. The last patch was a little overboard on the character. They removed his combo loops and a lot of what made the character good, and they had shadow nerfs to the character that weren't even in the patch notes. So I do think it's fine that this character is seeing a little bit of love. My favorite of these changes, a lot of these are just recovery changes, but Jerry actually returns to Tom if his teammate picks up Jerry and gets him killed. That way you're not punished for having a bad teammate, and I think that's fine. I'm okay with this. And then Velma is getting more nerfs. What a good day. So essentially she's getting more recovery on her up air, and then they're also nerfing her beam again. But I'm going to be honest, I feel like this character is still going to be good. What you need to do to Velma is you cannot allow a character to reduce your cooldowns by 50%. That is what's breaking this character. In my opinion, I think that is the most broken thing in the game, is the fact that she gets to reduce your cooldowns by half. That is why the Velma Iron Giant team was unbeatable back before they made it so bolts can't be affected by cooldown, and they actually would rather nerf bolts being affected by cooldown than just get rid of the one character abusing this mechanic. And when I say get rid of them, I don't mean get rid of Velma entirely, but I just don't agree with cooldown reduction being a mechanic for a character. I feel like cooldowns are there for a reason. They're there for a balance reason. And to be honest, I don't think there should be perks or special moves that reduce cooldown in the game at all. But that is going to do it for our patch notes. We got Velma nerfs again, but we also got some buffs to characters like Gizmo and Steven. There's a lot of great changes coming through, like the infinite combo stopper. Rick is getting added to the game finally, and then Shaggy is gonna be the tutorial character that you unlock for new players. Although there are also some concerning things, such as artificially increasing the difficulty of leveling up a character just by doubling the amount of experience it takes. Personally, I just think that messes up new players more than it affects anyone else, because we already all have our favorite characters at their perk levels. Let me know what you think of all these changes. I think overall a great patch. There are just a couple of weird things that I'm not super big on. With all that said, I'll smell you guys later.
So.